Welcome back to Durrës in Albania for the second part of Europe District. I'm here in the old Roman amphitheatre. It's the largest one in the Balkans. In this part of the program, our Brussels correspondent will meet members of the large Albanian diaspora. We'll also travel along the brand new motorway that links Albania and Kosovo. After 50 years of isolation, it has brought together Albanians from both sides of the border. And we'll meet a new guest in the program, Blendi Fevziu. He's a journalist. Together, we'll revisit Albania's turbulent past. Let's move to our first story. As we saw in the first part of the program, Albanians are eager to join the European family. Some have chosen to emigrate to Western Europe. Others travel there to complete their studies, but they chose to return back to Albania. It's the case with a lot of doctors. Our reporter met one of them.
The hospital in the suburbs of Tirana is brand new. Private investors in Albania, Greece and Italy footed the bill. The institution boasts the latest equipment. Many of the staff trained in Europe are highly specialised. Among them is heart surgeon Sokol Zhepa. He studied first in Romania, then in Germany and France.
It has always been essential to get specialized training abroad because we are a developing country. Even if we are part of Europe, geographically speaking, we will always need, especially in medicine, to draw on the knowledge and skills of European Union states.
Many Albanian students go abroad to study. Since returning home, Dr. Shepherd's worked just as much for this private clinic as for state-run hospitals. Public healthcare, he says, doesn't pay enough to make ends meet.
The difference between public hospitals and private hospitals is the quality of care and room comfort. It's the service and the attention given to the patient. The problem is also with the management, because they're very politicized.
We follow Dr. Shepherd during an operation of the carotid artery. The surgery lasts several hours. This patient opted for private sector care. The treatment carries a hefty price tag. Things look a little different at the public hospital on the other side of town. In the dilapidated building, 4 patients cram into each room. Dr. Shepherd has been lecturing fifth-year medical students. They too hope to study in the EU. Patients say experience in Europe is a mark of credibility.
For me, it's reassuring to know that he studied abroad. I'm sure I'll be well looked after.
Negotiations over Albania's European Union membership are yet to begin. Dr. Shepherd is already looking ahead. He hopes Brussels will push for greater democracy, putting an end to the country's two-tier healthcare system.
Let's cross over to Brussels now, where our correspondent met with members of the large Albanian diaspora. As you will see, they follow EU news very closely.
Arisa is the Brussels correspondent for the private Albanian TV channel ABC. A passionate European, she strives to bring the distant Brussels a little closer to Tirana. Since the Commission recommended granting them official EU candidate status, there's much debate inside the European hemicycle.
Albanians are very interested in European affairs, in what Europeans think about them, in what the EU Commission, MEPs and all European institutions think about them, precisely because they are too cut off from Europe and they like it so much that they want to join.
Albanians are very interested in Europe, but the feeling is not mutual. Europeans know very little about the country at the doors of the bloc and clichés are rife.
There are plenty of stereotypes about Albanians in Europe. If you don't know them, you might think they're criminals, traffickers or pimps. I heard a lot of these clichés in the early 2000s because the situation was very different in the country then. But for the past 5 or 6 years, there's been a real effort made by the Albanian authorities to change the country's image.
Improving Albania's image is key, according to these MEPs who are experts on Albania.
And of course, it's not all of them that make for the cliché reputation that Albania unfortunately has as a country of a lot of organized crime.
On the other hand, if you visit Tirana, you can go in midnight, in middle of the town, wherever you want, and you feel completely safe.
However, according to experts, organised crime, corruption and a weak judicial system continue to taint the image of Albania. And if Tirana doesn't close this chapter as soon as possible, the road to membership could be a very long one.
Each weekend, dozens of buses carrying Kosovar tourists arrive in Durrës through this road, thanks to a brand new motorway that helped recreate economic and cultural ties between Albanians from both sides of the border.
Opening with fanfare, Albania and Kosovo overcame a host of obstacles to give the green light to a cross-border motorway in 2007. 2 years later, leaders of the two nations opened the Albania-Kosovo highway.
Today, we decided that there were no mountains, no obstacles, nothing, either physical nor spiritual, that could stop this nation.
The Albanian state invested more than €1 billion laying a 118-kilometre stretch of road. The government called on Turkish-American consortium Bechdel Enker to carry out the work, designed to meet European standards. Large sections cut through the mountain rock.
The hardest part's that segment just behind me. The difficulty is that this stretch had to be linked with the other end, which is over there. Making the two ends meet was very difficult.
Under Albania's 4-decade-long dictatorship, border crossings with Kosovo were closed. Albanians seeking to cross over into the neighbouring country were forced to take treacherous mountain paths. Today, all that's changed. Motorists say the highway's given them a new lease of liberty.
This road was not imaginable back then. It was very difficult to go from one city to another. The bus we had at the time was not up to standards. And we're glad that young people can live better lives.
This family live in the United States. Thanks to the new motorway, they're crossing into Kosovo for the very first time.
How do you feel to be in Kosovo right now?
Right now, I am very excited.
The project also has a political purpose. Nicknamed the Patriotic and the Pan-Albanian Highway, many say the motorway is the first step towards a so-called Greater Albania, bringing together Albanian speakers from across the Balkans.
The biggest change we expect is people coming to share the same mindset. I'd say that this is a strategic investment rather than an economic or social one.
The drive between the country's capitals has been cut from 12 hours to only 2.5. Albanian-speaking Kosovars are the biggest users, leaving their landlocked country and heading for the Adriatic coast.
The highway is the peoples of Albania and Kosovo's greatest achievement. Yesterday it was merely a dream, an impassable wall with Albanians on each side, people who share the same language, the same culture and the same blood. Now in just 2 hours we're at the seaside.
During summertime, average traffic almost doubles, reaching 12,000 vehicles a day. Cross-border travels helped shift the economy of seaside city Durrës into a new gear. Kosovars have invested heavily in local real estate. Authorities are thinking of introducing a highway toll. The road could also one day reach into Serbia if the diplomatic divide can first be bridged.
I'm now in the city of Kruja to meet Blendi Fevziu. He's the anchor of Albania's most popular talk show. He's also the author of this biography of Enver Hoxha, the former communist dictator. Blendi, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you and welcome in Albania.
Thank you. Kruja is a very important place for Albanians.
It's important because here was born our national hero, Skanderbeg. It's an important place for the Albanian history. Skanderbeg was born here, but after the defeat of his father by the Ottomans, he was kidnapped by Sultan and was sent at Istanbul. And at the age of 20 or 25 years old, when he became a very important commander for the Ottoman army, He returned in Cruya and he fought for 25 years against Ottomans. He was the only guy at the time in the moment when the Ottomans, it were a very, very strong empire and strong army, who was defending the Catholicism. And our, let's say, nationalism has started with the figure of Skanderbeg as the symbol of the nation. And the Skanderbeg is now the figure or the guy who reunited all the Albanians from Kosovo, Macedonia, Montenegro, and here in Albania. Soccer ball. Yes, with the flag of Albania and the flags around.
Albania is playing tonight against
Islam.
And Blendi, our next stop is the old bazaar of Cruya. This is the best place to find souvenirs and traditional stuff.
You can find here the things 200, 300 years old, and also the new handcrafts produced from the Albanians. It's a perfect place for souvenirs.
Tell me more about these hats.
Yeah, the people ask about the difference of the hats. This is the hat from the South Albania, especially from the part of Lavria. This comes from the Mid-Albania, especially the region of Tirana and even Cruya here. This comes from the north of Albania, starting from here, including Kosovo and Shkodra.
Show me your hat, I'll tell you where you come from.
Yes, but if I have this hat and you this hat,
yes,
everybody will know you are from Mid-Albania and from North Albania.
And you're from North
yes.
Albania. And we're now back in the capital of Albania, Tirana, in front of what used to be the house of Enver Hoxha, the former communist dictator of Albania.
The heart of the city, named during the communist regime block. It was a very exclusive area, not permitted to entry anybody except Enver Hoxha, the leader of Albania, and just the members of Politburo. As a child, I didn't know what happened here, what was here. It was not any picture, not any image of this area here. For the first time, I passed through this exclusive area just in 1991.
At the time, Albania was one of the most repressive regimes, often called the North Korea of Europe.
It was a very repressive regime, even when you said, I don't have bread for today, or we are a poor country. This was enough for being condemned between 8 and 10 years of the prison. We had, during the communist regime, 500 people who were killed in the tentative to leave the country. We had 10,000 prisoners. We had 100,000 people who were isolated on the concentration camps. Most of them are still in desperate conditions because the integration on the new society of Albania, it was not so easy and so fast.
Some of them are on hunger strike just around the corner.
Yes, they're waiting the compensation according to the law, but they are now in a very strong discussion with the government how they will receive the money.
We are former political prisoners. I spent 20 years in prison. Our Prime Minister Berisha and his government passed a law entitling us to compensation, but they haven't paid us. Two former prisoners set themselves on fire here, just in front of us. Why? I won't stop this hunger strike until Berisha and his government give us what they promised.
Blendi, we're now on Democracy Square, a place that in 1990 came to symbolize the end of communism.
It is one from the most important places in Albanian history because here in 8th of December has been started a student movement against the communist regime. The Albania, it was a unique country because in the other countries they were the intellectuals. But here in Albania, everything was started by the students. And after 4 days of the students' movements here in this place, and especially in the surround area, Ramiz Alia, the chief of the Communist Party, accepted the pluralism.
Blendy, at the time you were a student yourself. What do you remember of those historic days?
Very interesting day. I was coming at the university for a normal day, but coming here, I found in the front of me the students who started the demonstration. It was my last day of university. It was my first day of a new life.
Our guest had to leave us for a couple of hours. Blendy is presenting his political program tonight, and he's waiting for us. And it's 5 to 9. You're getting ready for your daily talk show. It's called Opinion. Who's your guest today?
My guest today is the Minister of Defense. He is in the front of some directors of newspapers and directors of some other shows to talk about the accusations made by the opposition. It's very interesting, you know, the politics in Albania is so strong and so, let's say, emotive as in the other countries close to us or neighborhoods.
I will leave you with your defense minister, Blendy Fevzi. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure also to be you also as a guest here tonight.
Thank you for watching this edition of Europe District from Albania. We'll be in Turkey next month as we continue our journey across Europe. So please stay with us on France 24.